back. You're here at the Smoker 420, and this is Mike and Juju's Movie Corner. Alright, today, Juju, we're not just talking about a movie. We're dissecting a generational masterpiece that basically wrote the rule book for how Gen X understands storytelling, romance, and irony.
That's right. The Princess Bride, 1987. A year when Reagan was president, the Cold War was still simmering, and Hollywood was pumping out formulaic romantic comedies. And then this drops.
Our childhood memory of the story was a little bit different, I'm sure, because we grew up in different neighborhoods, different families. But let us take y'all on a little trip on how we first experienced this movie.
Bell Point Elementary. And we rented it on VHS, and the whole family watched it together.
So family movie nights, going to the video store and picking out a movie. Like, you don't get that experience, that human interaction anymore. And it was pretty much the same, you know, everybody was renting VHSs back then, watching it with the family. But this one here, it wasn't just a movie. It was a cinematic revolution disguised as a nice little fairy tale.
That's right.
Because you're telling about the basic story that we all fell in love with as Gen Xers.
So there's this farm boy, Westley, total 80s heartthrob, who basically says as you wish to this girl Buttercup, which we all knew meant I love you, but like cooler.
Way cool. As you wish. Alright, so basic premise. You've got a grandfather reading a classic storybook to a sick grandson. The grandfather is played by Peter Falk. Grandson, Fred Savage. Alright. Grandfather's narrating a tale of true love, adventure, and miraculous escapes. Alright, so this movie was really packed full of characters that we all obsessed over as kids.
Right.
Some of those main characters were Wesley, a farm boy working on a farm who falls in love with the farmer's daughter. You've got Buttercup, a beautiful young woman who also falls back in love with Wesley.
Prince Humperdinck, the antagonistic prince who wants to marry Buttercup. Inigo Montoya, a skilled Spanish swordsman seeking revenge for his father's murder. And Fezzik, a gentle giant who becomes an ally.
Right? Inigo Montoya, that's a storyline.
Yeah. Every awkward Gen X kid's fantasy of being the cool, determined hero.
Right? Alright, so y'all know that classic line. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Alright, so thank you. But let's talk about that narrative arc breakdown, Juju.
Early story, Westley and Buttercup fall in love on a farm. And Wesley leaves to make his fortune, promising a return with all his riches and stuff like that. Also, Buttercup believes Wesley has been killed by pirates.
Let's talk about the kidnapping and revenge that comes later. So you've got Buttercup, who at this point is now unwillingly engaged to Prince Humperdinck, I would say. She's stolen a horse, she runs off, and then runs right into three mercenaries who kidnap her. Vizzini, Inigo, and Fezzik.
Mm-hmm. Also, a mysterious man in black pursues them. And he has to defeat each kidnapper.
That's right. He starts off after that huge climb up that mountain, then has to sword fight Inigo. And I love how he goes like half the fight, fighting with his left hand, and do things like they're equally skilled, and then he switches over and he's like, but I'm actually not left-handed. Like, really good. Yes.
Wrestling Fest.
Yeah. He had to put the sleeper hose or something on Andre. Andre the Giant, Fezzik. Alright, and then last, the little dude from Toy Story, the little bald-headed dude. I can't think of his name, y'all, sorry. I'll put it up here. Alright, he outsmarts Vizzini in a battle of wits. But you think, therefore you would think that I think, therefore a man of your stature would know that I would switch a glass. Therefore, remember they go back and forth with the glasses?
That had me a little confused. I ain't gonna lie.
It was good. It was good. Alright, so you got the final conflict. You got Prince Humperdinck's plot to kill Westley and marry the beautiful Buttercup. He thinks he succeeds this. I mean, he really does. He kills Westley, but luckily, Wesley's revived by the miracle worker, who we know is Billy Crystal. Great small role in this. And his wife, Carol Kane.
Yep.
Great actress from
Scrooge.
That's right.
Inigo achieves his lifelong revenge against the six-fingered man. Wesley and Buttercup escape, riding off into the sunset.
That's right. That story textbook ending, right?
Right.
Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the detailed production history of this.
Let's get granular. Rob Reiner, fresh off This Is Spinal Tap, a comedy genius who understood just deconstruction before it was a thing.
Definitely. And let's not forget William Goldman. He was a screenwriter and novelist for this. And this wasn't just an adaptation, man. This was a meta-narrative about storytelling itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, so production details. This had a total budget of $16 million, which is quite a bit then. And only pulled in at the initial box office barely $30 million. Critical reception, it was mixed, but still a lot of intriguing viewers, which ended up leading to legendary cult status of this movie. Juju, tell them about the cultural deconstruction.
Why did Gen X love this so much? Because it understood our fundamental worldview.
Exactly. There was irony, definitely sincerity, and the ability to mock something while also deeply loving it. I mean, our generation was best at those things. Alright, so some of the themes that we as Gen Xers really connect with, I think, true love conquers all.
Revenge.
Definitely. Adventure.
Friendship.
Subversion of fairy tale tropes.
Our takeaway, though?
Not just a movie, a generational touchstone.
A love letter to storytelling itself.
So, you all can see why a movie can mean so much to a whole generation.
Exactly, big bro. Exactly.
Alright, Gen X forever?
Gen X forever.
Definitely. Alright guys, as always, this has been another great episode of Mike and Juju's Movie Corner. Check us out next week with a whole new breakdown of a new movie, or an old movie, that we're doing new. Y'all know what we mean.
Yeah.
As always, this is At the Smoker in 420. I'm your boy and your host, Mike.
I'm your co-host, Juju.
And we will see you guys on the next one.